Hi everyone. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. For those of you I haven't met before, I think I have met you all though now that are watching this live. My name is Erin O'Brien. I am a Thermomix consultant and team leader based in Druin in Victoria, and I go by Thermo Loving Mum on Instagram and Facebook. Throughout the month of November, I have brought you guys a series of virtual events, I'm going to call them, all focusing around entertaining over the summer. So it was my summer entertaining series, and we are wrapping it up for the last week of November and finishing off with sweets because we have to finish everything with dessert, I think. So I've got a few delicious, much easier than you might think, desserts and sweets that I want to share with you tonight and show you how to make. Please, if you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to pop them in the chat box as we are going. I would love you to, chat along with me in there as we're going. Maybe then it doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself quite as much. But yeah, any questions at all, please pop them in there. We're going to get straight into it tonight. And I've tried to pick a few recipes that have some in-season ingredients as well, or things that we can alter a little bit to use in-season ingredients. So let's get cooking. Just going to head on over to my Thermomix now. And we are going to start off not actually with this recipe. There you go. It's where I left off prepping. So obviously this is our home screen of our TM7, and I have planned out our recipes tonight. So I'm just going to go to show all there. You might see the little countdown in the top there. That is just a timer that I've set just so my Thermomix doesn't turn off while I'm doing the virtuals, because as we know, they turn off after 15 minutes of being idle. So I just wanted to keep it on so we're not waiting. All right, so we're going to scroll down. You can see a little bit of what we're cooking tonight. So we're going to do a steamed white chocolate cheesecake. We're going to do a Swiss roll, chocolate ice cream, but we're going to start off with a nice, refreshing matcha coconut caramel latte. So I'm not sure if you guys are into the old matcha craze at the moment, but this is delicious. The caramel syrup that we're going to make with it gives it that beautiful little sweetness as well, and super refreshing for those warm summer days. So we are going to get straight into it. I'm going to get this one going because we use the sugar stages mode, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. But we're going to start off by making a caramel syrup. So this step just explains, for those of you who might not have used the sugar stages mode before, it is the one mode that you do have to have the ingredients nearly spot on for. So I'm just going to, I'll get it going and then I'll keep talking. So we're going to place into there 250 grams of sugar. So I know we often say that guided cooking is just a guide, and that is the case for most recipes. Sugar stages is the one exception. And that first step just explains that. So it just says that to ensure that you get good results every time and ensure that you have successful recipes, you do need to make sure that you stick to the recipe. It will throw an error as well if you try and put too much in or too little. Obviously, being a smart appliance, it will let you know. So we're just going to grind up that sugar, 10 seconds on speed 10. Next. And then, so we've just milled that just white sugar into like an icing sugar consistency there, as you can see. So just saying us to scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl, and by that it just means we're just pushing all the ingredients down towards base. And hit next, and into there now we are going to place 100 grams of coconut. So this is, like a coconut caramel syrup. A little bit different to our normal, but absolutely delicious. And then 30 grams of, so that's just the auto tick off of the TM7 that's doing that for us there. So when we reach the right amount, it will do that. a little bit over there. So I am just going to take a bit out because, like I said, we want to make sure that we're accurate on these recipes. 30 grams of butter and just a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to hit next, and then we're going to pop that onto caramelize. Just icing sugar everywhere. So popping the lid on and just pressing play. So you will see, I can make it bigger there, the settings here. This is just the sugar stages mode. So literally sugar on a spoon will remind you that is there. So you can make all kinds of things with the sugar stages mode. You can make like things like honeycomb, yeah, all different kinds of sweets. I will show you. I was going to show you while it's cooking. If we go into our cookie dough screen, so on your TM7, you can use your Thermomix as much as you want as far as cookie dough and things. You can keep going while it's cooking. So you'll just see the active recipe up the top. And that's just heating up now. So if we wanted to, you can go on to cookie dough. And I just wanted to show you the different things you can make with the sugar stages mode. So I'm literally just going to put in sugar stages, because that's what we're calling the mode that we're using at the moment. And you'll see some of the different options that you can make. Are you guys making anything with the sugar stages mode at the moment? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. But things like the candied almond, those of you, if you caught our Christmas virtual class last week, you would have seen Zoe make the candied almonds. Coffee candied, I think this recipe, this mode would probably have to be most used at this time of year. Oh, that's great, Kelly. I'm glad. It's super easy, and things that you think might be difficult to make. It just, obviously guided cooking and that precise heat makes it so much easier and nails it for you. The caramel popcorn is delicious, but very Moorish. I will warn you on that one if you make it. But you can make things like lollipops. The caramel cake is absolutely delicious as well. There's a walnut brittle. So yeah, lots of different things you can make there. Candied strawberries. They all use that sugar stages mode. So if you haven't given it a try yet, make sure you do. Pick something. It's perfect for gifting at this time of year as well. You can... Yeah, I like to make honeycomb, cover it in a bit of chocolate. Chocolate covered honeycomb is a beautiful gift at this time of year. All right, so while that is doing its thing, we're going to get started with our next recipe. I just pop my bowl together. I just had it washing from making dinner. What did you guys all have for dinner tonight? Thermomix? Let me know. Pop in the chat box. Busy day baking. We caught up on some lunchbox snacks today as well while school and kinder were on. All right, so we are going to go into our planned recipes again this time. And now I'm going to start that steamed white chocolate cheesecake. Cheesecake, something you guys have made before, make often, would like to try and make, pop it in the chat box and let me know. So like always, if we want to, we can have a scroll down, have a read of the recipe, but I'm just going to hit start and get straight into it. This recipe starts off by making a coulis. And so for this one, it is a mango coulis. So it just says there into the bowl, we're going to put 200 grams of mango. You can use fresh or frozen. I've used frozen just because my kids are loving the fresh mango. And I want some more for them to have. And then 30 grams of caster sugar. And obviously you can adjust the sugar on this one if you want to. Especially if you are using fresh mango at this time of year. It's so delicious and sweet. You can cut the sugar back a little bit. And then 50 grams of water. Now, the lime zest, I was running a bit late and I didn't run out to the lime tree to grab some. So we're just going to skip the zest. I thought I had lots of time to get organised tonight, and it just disappears. And then we're going to do 40 grams of lime juice. And we were just going to hit next. And now we've pop the lid on. Actually, just got to grab that out of the dish. So bear with me 2 seconds, and I'm going to do that. And then we've got 4 minutes and 90 degrees on speed 3 for that one. So this pulley, I will take you back to the recipe and you can have a little look. If we go down, so obviously you've got your quick buttons here. So you've got the overview, ingredients, preparation, tips, and more. If we hit tips and go down, it does tell us that we can decorate our cake with thin slices of fresh mango or lime. But it also tells us that we can change our pulley around. So obviously this makes it like a mango and lime pulley, but this recipe also recommends trying the kiwi pulley, and that's a cookie dough recipe, or the berry pulley as well. So like before, if we wanted to, if we were having a bit of a play with this recipe, we can just go over to the cookie dough screen on the left-hand side. And if I typed in pulley, we'll get a couple of options there. So you've got a couple of different fruit ones. I might try putting in the kiwi. I actually haven't made a kiwi pulley before. Anyone else made anything like that? So I've got it in there. Yeah, so this is semi-freddo with a marbled kiwi coulis. I officially feel like I have to try that. It's not something I've made before, just kiwi fruit, caster sugar, and lemon juice. Got a few in the fridge. I reckon I might give that a go after tonight. But super, super easy to make a coulis, obviously. And again, with this cheesecake, you can change it around to use whatever you like. We are loving mango, like I said. So it's an easy choice here. But if you wanted to, you can use something else. Below, or when you're in your tips section, you will see on the TM7 one of the newer features is the add note button. So this is there for you to use. So only you can see the notes that you add in here. Nobody else can. But if you've perhaps say made this recipe and you did try a different coulis or something else that you thought that's amazing, next time I make that recipe I have to make that change again, you can just pop it in there and you'll be able to see it next time. So yeah, with any recipe, any cookie recipe, you can add your notes so that you can remember the changes that you made for next time. All right, so I might just show you again. You can just up the top there, you can see the active recipe. You can click that. Or if I pull down from the top, this is called our cooking center when we pull down from the top. So you can see what is cooking. You can also see that I've got that timer going just so my thermomix can time out. You can access the timer there. You can also access your scales and the cleaning mode. So if we want to go back to the recipe, just tap that and it will take us back to it. Are you guys making any different types of cheesecake at the moment with your Thermomix? Or is there one that you're buying that you need some recipe ideas to have a go at yourself? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. Love a good cheesecake. And there are so many different ones on Cookie Doo and just on the internet as well that you can make in your Thermomix. One of my favourite ones to make now, I found a beautiful Toblerone cheesecake. If anyone wants that recipe, let me know. It's not a Cookie Doo one, but it is so good and super easy. Perfect, for taking for Christmas or, if you're being asked to bring a plate over the next couple of months. Sorry, that is got about 30 seconds left. I'm actually just going to there for just a second. I'm just going to grab a jar and pop that in. So that is finished. I'm just going to hit next. And like I said, it's just telling us to transfer it into a sealable container and allow it to cool. So I'm just going to move my Thermomix back. And you see that beautiful coulis. So you could give it a, like, you can see obviously there are some, sorry, I'm trying to fog up the camera there. Like it's kind of a bit of a chunkier coulis at the moment, which is fine for the top of the cheesecake. But if you did want to, you can kind of whiz it up a little bit. Just pop it back on. You might need to wait for it to cool a little bit. The Thermomix has some extra, I'm just going to move to the side to put this last bit in, or I'm going to spill it everywhere. The Thermomix does have some extra safety features, like that it won't let it blend if the ingredients are too hot. So you might just need to wait just for, okay, it can still be warm or hot, but not just really high temperatures. So you might just need to take the lid off and wait for a minute or so before you blend it up. But yeah, you can absolutely do that. So now it's just telling us to cover that, place it in the fridge until ready to use. Then to preheat our oven, which I've already got done, lined the base of the baking tin. Sorry, I did it to clean the bowl. I'm just going to go back up. No. Perfect. I don't even have to clean the bowl. How good is that? So I'm going to pop that back on there. I'll just bring it closer to you again. And we're just going to tear the scales. If I'm going too fast or you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to pop it in the chat box. I obviously want to make these virtuals as helpful as possible for you. So, yeah, if there's anything I'm skimming over too quickly for you, just let me know. So into there now, we're going to place half a packet or 125 grams of granita biscuits. Over. And then 40 grams of butter. I'm going to use the wrong pre-prepared butter before. That's why I went over on the other one. There we go, 40 grams. Next again. And now we're just going to blend that up. Zoom will meet me out for this 15 seconds because of those bickies. It will be a bit noisy. So I'll talk to you again in 15 seconds. Next, now it's just telling us, so it said until breadcrumb-like consistency as well, just in case we, weren't happy with the consistency. But if anything, it's a little bit over, so that's perfectly fine because we're just going to push it into the baking tin. So I'm just going to move that back again. Degrees there. All right, so now I've just got one of my springform baking tins. These ones are from the Mix Shop. If you guys haven't seen at the moment, we actually do have a Mix Shop sale, our Black Friday sale. Let's keep talking. So this is just the cheesecake base. So there's about, this is a 20 centimetre springform tin. And like I said, they're on sale in the Mix Shop at the moment. It's a 20% off pretty much store-wide sale. If you have your eye on anything, make sure you jump on and check it out. And if you're not already, make sure you sign up to the My Mix Rewards program while you're there, because you will get a $15 welcome voucher too that you can use. All right, so we're just going to push that out. And you do want to pack it in quite firmly because you'll see this little video there. Because like I said, this is the base of your cheesecake. So yeah, you'll notice on the TM7, and if you have a TM6, some of them as well have these little videos, little tutorial videos. I'm just going to move this out of the way because I can't do it around the camera there. But yeah, those little tutorial videos to show you exactly what to do if you're not 100% sure. So, baking or making different things is not your strong point. You've got lots of videos that are being added to all the time as well. to help you out. All right, so that is that done. Sorry, I just didn't quite have the coordination to do it around the camera. All right, and then we're going to place that into the oven for 10 minutes. So I'm just going to whack that in there. Okay. And we're just going to hit next. So now it is telling us to clean and dry the mixing bowl. So please bear with me for just 1 minute and I'll quickly do that. Like I said, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to pop them in the chat box. The other thing that I am using over here, which obviously you can't see, but if you are doing a mixture of order and you don't have a bowl brush, they are the best things to help clean your bowl. So make sure you pop one in your cart with the rest of your stuff. $8 each, but they are so good, so helpful. Just get in and around the weight. So I just know that the next step of this recipe is chocolate. So it chops up the chocolate and then melts it. So I am just going to make sure, just take an extra minute, just to make sure the bowl is as dry as possible, because otherwise all that chocolate will just stick around its edges. Have you guys tried any of the recipes that I've been making on these virtuals yet, or popped any on your list for summer? You know, hopefully you've been finding them helpful. Okay, so now we're going to make that cheesecake filling. And like I said, we're going to put 300 grams of white chocolate broken into pieces, but I've just got milk, so we don't need to break them up any further. And this one will mute me out as well for this 5 seconds. So 5 seconds on speed 8 to grate up that chocolate. I just need to move that chocolate around the base a little bit, make sure it's nice and even so that it's up there. So that little error, I'm not sure if you saw that pop up, that was just because, I'm just going to keep next and then keep talking. Otherwise it'll be here all night. So you'll see that chocolate grated up there. So it does just say to scrape down the sides, but I'm happy that that is well, has it sprayed up all around the side. So yes, that error that you just saw pop up there, that is because when I threw all the chocolate in there, it kind of all threw in the one spot of the bowl. So it kind of like all stuck around the one side of the one prong of the blades. And so then it had trouble moving, obviously, because it was all that weight was just on that one side. So just kind of moving it around the mixing bowl resolves that, just to make sure it's even. So your Thermomix your TM7 in particular, is, like I said before, a smart device. Like it will let you know all of these things. It will let you know if you've done something wrong or if there is a the right way to do things or anything like that. You also notice, I'm not sure if you can see it particularly well in my little screen there, that this bowl on here mirrors exactly what we're doing on our Thermomix. So you might notice on the next couple of steps now that I've pointed it out that that shows me when to put the lid on, when to take it off. It shows like a color when we're putting ingredients in, does all kinds of different things. So have a little look as they're doing the next few steps and you'll notice. But above that is a little padlock. So that padlock just shows us whether your bowl is locked or unlocked to the lid of it, sorry. So you know how on obviously the TM6 or the TM5, we had the automated locking arms on it. So we don't obviously have them on the TM7, and it is like the locking mechanism is built into the bowl from the base. Don't ask me the specifics of it, not mechanical minded at all. But the padlock now tells us that it's unlocked. So at any stage, if we wanted to, we can take our lid off, have a little peek in. We don't have to. While I do that, actually, I'm going to just push that chocolate down to the base and just flick a little bit off the blades that's on there. So when you are cooking at speed 2 or below, your lid is unlocked. So you can just, without having to stop it and wait for it to cool down perhaps, or wait for it to unlock, you can just lift your lid. The blades will automatically pause straight away. You can have a squish, you can throw in some extra ingredients, do what I just did, have a little look, make sure you don't need to push the ingredients back down towards the blade so they all melt together, that kind of thing. Above speed 2, it will automatically lock, so obviously as a safety feature. So in that case, if you want to do it, you do just press pause, just wait those few seconds, and then you can lift the lid off. So we've got both of them running about the same time. We've got about 2 minutes left on our caramel on the other Thermomix and 2 minutes left on that white chocolate melt. At any stage, you can continue and scroll down, check the next few steps. Actually, while I will do that, I'll get the cream cheese ready. So, if you're making dinner or anything in particular at home, you can use that's kind of like a preview function, really, scrolling down to look at the next couple of steps so that, like I said, if it's dinner, you can, perhaps chop your chicken or whatever you need to do so that you're ready. Save a bit of time when the time comes. All right, got my cream cheese, half the sugar, some all ready to go. But I'm actually going to come across to this one first. So, a second. I'm still in Cookidoo in that, because we were searching for high heat recipes. So again, just pressing the recipe details up the top will take us back to where we are. So just 30 seconds left on that caramelizing sugar stages mode. And then again, we're the same. We can have a little squeeze out. We can check. The next step is to add a little bit more coconut milk. So we'll do that. Tell me, guys, do you like matcha? Are you guys into the whole matcha craze? I'm not massive about it, but I don't mind it. But like I said, I do think this one will be absolutely delicious for those hot summer days outside. And you'll obviously see that the syrup makes quite a bit. So you make the syrup once and then you don't have to keep making it every time you want one. You've got it ready to go. So you can see that, look at that caramel syrup there, bubbling up. And then into there we're going to place another 100 grams. And then next, I'm going to pop the lid back on for 2 minutes. So another 2 minutes just on the speed 2 to combine all that together. So while that's cooking, we'll come back over here and keep going with our cheesecake filling. All right, so we can see that that has done, and there you go. You can see how it's telling me there. The lid can come off now. And that has melted that chocolate beautifully. So into there now, we are just going to place that 500 grams of cream cheese. That's a bit. And ticking that off. 50 grams of caster sugar. And a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste. Not a measure when it comes to that. And then we're just going to hit next. And now we're just going to blend that. So 25 seconds on speed 5.5. While that's blending up, I'm just going to get our base out of the oven. That's beeping away at this. Everything's beeping at once. Hit next. Now it's just telling us to scrape down the sides with the spatula. Doesn't really need much there. In. Of course, let's put the base on top of the eggs. In 4 eggs. I always like to scratch my eggs separately before I throw them in, just in case. Do that. I hate to throw in a bad egg with all that beautiful mixture there. We next again, and now just another 20 seconds to finish that off. And then, well, that one is finishing. The next step on this one is just 2 more minutes at 120 degrees on speed 2. So you didn't have to pop anything extra in there. It's just adding an extra 2 minutes with the temperature this time because the previous one didn't. All right, now it's just telling us to scrape down the bowl one more time there. I'm just going to take it off to scrape it, just in there. I haven't actually combined that well yet, so I will add a bit of extra time this time. Because it's got one more 10-second mix, but I'm just going to increase that because the eggs weren't mixed in pretty much at all then. So I'm just going to add an extra 5 seconds. All right, now we are just going to check that. That's looking much better. Cheesecake filling there. Let's put that back again. we're just going to pop that filling on there. So in a perfect world, you would in a perfect non-Zoom world, you would just let that base cool a little bit more before you add this in. But obviously, we don't want to be here all night, so we're just going to do that. Sorry, popped your screen there. All right, so just going to smooth all that out. And now I'm just going to pop it onto Steve. So you'll see the next step is to rinse the mixing bowl and place a litre of water in it. So I'm just going to fill it up to the litre mark. It's easier to sip it from the tap. My other little hack here is to use hot water. If you use hot water, you'll decrease your steaming time because it doesn't need to heat up. So yeah, obviously you don't need that extra time that it would take for the bowl to heat. So water in there. Next, now it's just telling us to pop the varema in position. Next, and then put the cheesecake in there. Just make sure it's not too hot because it just came out of the oven. So then you just need to pop the lid on. You just, if you need to, give it a bit of a wiggle just to make sure the lid's on properly. But that is sitting beautifully there. I'll do that first. And then it's just telling us to pop the baking paper on the top of the cheesecake. So I'll sit that on the top. Next. So again, it's got 40 minutes on this. We're cheating in two ways. So we're cheating by putting hot water in. And I'm also going to, my other tip is to increase the speed. So I'm going to increase it to speed 3. And that way you create a lot more steam with the speed. So you will cook it a lot quicker. I'm running a bit late tonight. I was got a bit excited, I think, with my menu again. It's unusual for me, isn't it? So that is our coconut caramel sauce. And put that in. And then it just allows it to cool. So I'm just going to give this bowl a quick wash out too, so we can keep moving. We're going to come back and make the rest of the matcha tea at the end, just so that it's freshly made before we can. Other quick things that I want to show you. I think I'm going to run just a little bit over time. But if you have to go, don't stress. I'm recording, so I will send you the recording afterwards. But I would love you to stay on the thing as well if you have to. All right. So, like I said, we are going to come back. We're allowing that syrup to cool, pop to the side, and then we're going to come back and make the rest of the drink when we're ready to. So we're going to go home, home screen. And this time I want to show you how to make a Swiss roll. Has anyone made a Swiss roll before? I chose this one because when I've made it before and shared it on my social media, everybody thinks that it's really hard. And I'm not going to lie, I put off making one for ages because I thought exactly the same. So our oven is preheating. I'll come back to doing all of that. Just going to get it going and then we'll keep talking. We're going to pop in our butterfly whisk. And then into there now, we're going to place 3 eggs. This takes a little bit of whisking time, so I'm just going to quickly get it on and then I'm going to talk more about this roll. So whole eggs for this one, 3 of them. Straight into there. And then 120 grams of caster sugar. So you see there, see how I said that it's mimicking what we've got? So you can see the butterfly in there. And then we'll start to add a little bit of ingredients. Or maybe not for a smaller amount. Okay. Next, and now I'm just going to whisk that for 6 minutes on speed 3. Yeah, so like I was saying, I have put up Swiss rolls a few times on my social media, and I always get a few messages. And yeah, like I said, I was the same. I had one in my to try folder, this recipe in my cookie do to try folder for a very long time. Before I saw Louisa, one of the consultants in my team, actually make it, and I was like, "Oh, could I do it? How hard is it?" She's like, "Don't be ridiculous. It's so easy." And now like I'm about to show you, it's so much easier than what you might think. And yeah, absolutely delicious. It'll be a quick go-to over summer. So again, this is another recipe where you can change the fillings to suit you. I'm actually going to use some strawberries for our filling tonight instead of the mango that this recipe asked for. But you can do anything. You can leave it as is. You can just do a cream. You could do like a jam and cream roll, you know, like the bakery type thing. What else could you do? I did see someone on Instagram the other day did a lemon curd in it, and my goodness, that looked amazing. So yeah, super versatile, whatever you like. Guided cooking is just a guide. So we've got that whisking away there. We've got our cheesecake steaming in our other Thermomix. Obviously, it's really hard to hear on Zoom the noise difference, but if you have a TM6, you would notice a significant difference. Both of these are cooking at speed 3 at the moment. And if I was cooking with 2 TM6s, I would find the noise of the back one to be quite distracting from what I'm doing here. And often, especially on Zoom, I really have to move the second Thermomix away. But because of our insulated casing on our TM7, you will notice a significant difference in the noise. Anyone have any questions? Pop in the chat box and let me know. Oh, the other thing I was going to say, so if I scrolled back up, obviously we can just look back when we're cooking. Step 2 says to line a Swiss roll tin, which says 30 centimetres by 20 by 1. Just threw a dirty spatula on the ground. I don't have a Swiss roll tin, and it's not something that I use often enough. And honestly, I've got so much stuff in my kitchen as it is that I need to buy extra of. So I just use a baking tray. I'm just going to move this back and show you. So again, these are from the mix shop as well, but if you've got something different, that's perfectly fine. You'll see this one's got a silicone liner in it, so it's just under that 30 by 20. But you can see that's got a bit of a lip on it. It's about 1 centimetre. So I just line that with baking paper, and that it works perfectly for the Swiss roll. So don't overthink it at all. And yeah, you can use what you've got. The other thing, obviously, like before, we can scroll down to check our next steps. And the next step of this recipe says, place a small bowl on the mixing bowl lid and then weigh into that bowl 70 grams of self-raising flour. So if your Thermomix is going below speed 2, this scale icon will be green and you can access your scales while you're cooking. But fun little tip is if I want to, we're running a bit behind tonight. I want to speed things up a little bit and get the next step going. So I am going to go into my settings, or my cook settings there. I'm just going to take the cap off. And I'm just going to slow it down to speed 2, just for a few seconds. That brings up my scales. And I'm going to weigh in that 70 grams of self-raising flour. See the scale icon there. It's still whisking away just at speed 2 for a couple of seconds instead of speed 3. Just saving myself a little bit of time there. Like I said, if it was below speed 2, you can just go ahead and use the search up on there. But then we finish that, we can increase it back to speed 3, and we're ready to go for the next step. So I've got about 1:20 left on that one. I might actually just stop it there because we are going to run over time. So it's fine. So you see that our egg whites and sugar mixture is up there, it's aerated nicely. Now we're going to skip on past this because we've done it. Place the salt bowl on and weigh in our 70 grams of self-raising flour. And then we're going to sieve that into the bowl. So just got my little one here. And just going to pop that in there. So, I mean, you could get away with popping in the self-raising flour directly if you want, but you're going to get better results, lighter results, if you just take that extra minute just to sift your ingredients in there. And now we're just going to put that back on, 15 seconds on 2.5. And that is it. That's our cake mixture. Move that thermo back again. Just want us to remove our butterfly whisk, so just doing that quickly. Popping that to the side. I'm running out of clean spatulas. Oops, I need a bit of baking paper on there. And then you can see that beautiful light. All right, so then if you continue on, it says transfer it to the tray and just make sure you push it out to the corners. I'm not going to be super fussy right now because I want to keep moving with you guys. But if you take your time, you'll just get a neater result at the end. So I'm going to pop that in the oven. It says for about 14 to 16 minutes. In my experience, obviously it depends on your oven, but I find that if I go to the 16, it's overcooked and really hard to roll. So for me, 12 to 14 minutes is, I find, to be perfect. Good. Pop that in there. I'm just going to give that bowl another quick clean. All right, and I'm going to run about 10 minutes over time. Sorry, that's been passing while I should finish up. I hope that's okay. But like I said, if you're done and you want to go to bed, I will send through the recording afterwards. I just want to show you how to make a quick and super easy ice cream. I've made ice cream before. It's another thing that I thought was really hard until I actually tried it. And you're going to be so pleasantly surprised by how easy it is. All right. So remember, you've got that glider foot on your TM7. So when I'm moving it around, I'm just tilting it, and that back foot glides it around safely without disturbing your scales. Okay, so we're going to go back to my wig. This time we're going to open up this chocolate ice cream. For this one, I have decreased the serving size because I've done the first couple of steps and pre-made one for us, and I didn't need a huge amount. But you can alter the serving sizes to suit you, and if you're entertaining or anything. So into there now, we're going to place 2 ounces of dark chocolate. And we are going to give that a chop. 5 seconds on speed 8. I'll be muted by Zoom again now. Straight down the sides. Spatula's here. I don't know what I'm doing here. I should have been a bit more careful about drying the bowl like I did with the white chocolate, because I'll show you what I mean is it's all kind of stuck around the side a little bit, but that'll be fine. What I'll do is I'll just stop the recipe partially through and give it stop the melt partially through and give it a push down. 3 tablespoons of cocoa. Milk and cream. I'm just going to make that at the fridge quickly. Seven ounces of milk. Three and a half ounces of cream. Another 3 ounces of sugar. That's my that timer that I set going. 2 egg yolks. And a pinch of salt. So mix past that. And now we give that a little bit, so 6 minutes, and it's in Fahrenheit because of the recipe, which is fine. Your Thermomix will automatically convert that over for you, so 195 Fahrenheit. So while that's cooking, if I went back to, I should have moved it first, sorry. If I go back to my Swiss roll recipe, I'm just going to have a look at the next couple of steps. So it says, we're putting it into the oven, bake for that 14 to 16 minutes. And then it says, meanwhile, in the mixing bowl and the butterfly whisk, but then scatter around a tablespoon of sugar over a piece of baking paper larger than the tin. So this is honestly the, let's say hardest part of making a Swiss roll, but I promise you that it's not hard at all. So all we're going to do is we're going to get a nice big piece of baking paper, and I'm just going to pop some sugar on it. I'm just grabbing that a second. So literally because what we're going to do when it comes out of the oven, so straight away we're going to work with it hot, is we're going to tip it out onto this baking paper, and then we're going to roll it up. Just having that prepared, ready to go, will save yourself a little bit of time. This is how it's going. A few more minutes left on that. Got a bit going on here, don't we? All right, so we've got, well, technically another 20 minutes on our cheesecake, but I'm going to go with another, looks amazing, 5 minutes or so, because like I said, we increased that, we started with hot water, so it didn't have to worry about heating up, and we increased the speed, which makes it cook out a little bit faster. So we've got that coming towards the end. We've got our mango coulis to top that with. We've got our caramel sauce that is cooling down to make our matcha drink. We've just got to roll out our Swiss roll, and then we're going to fill it with some whipped cream, and then we are just going to finish the ice cream. A bit of behind myself, sorry. While that ice cream is finishing, I'll show you what I have done. So after this step, we pop it in the freezer. So the recipe says you can pop it on anything freezer safe, essentially. You can pop it in like a bit of sliced tin, just on the tray, and then cut it up before you blend it again. What I like to do, I cheat a little bit, and I use a silicone tray. And for this one, because I only did a 4 serve, so it was a small amount, I just did it in my mini muffin tray. So they just pop straight out, ready to blend up. So the thing with ice cream and how we make our ice cream beautiful and creamy, like store-bought, is to do a second blend on. So you just do this first step, which is like, the cooking, the heating of the ingredients. Then you freeze it overnight, and then you blend it up again. So you can, like I said, pop it in a tray and then just cut it up. Like obviously it just has to be in sizes that you can manage. But I've used the mini muffin tray today, and the other one I like to use is the silicone mini loaf tray, because that is perfect, and then you can just kind of cut it into like 4 pieces as you pop it out of the mini loaves. So let's get all these ready. You guys made ice cream before? It's just so much easier, like you can see popping it in the silicone tray, it just pops straight out. And like I said before, these, I'm actually not sure if the silicone mini muffin tray is available on the mixer at the moment. I think it might have sold out. But they're dishwasher safe too, these silicone trays. So that's what we all need in our life. Easy. All right, so that is ready. We've got about a minute left on that. Everything's going to happen at once. It's all going to go ding, ding, ding. We're ready. Just going to get that mini loaf tray out just so I can put already made it in there to freeze and blend up tomorrow. So that's that new loaf tray I was talking about that you can get off the mix shop as well. So about 20 seconds left on there. And then it's just telling us to pour that into up to 1.5 inches high in shallow freezable containers. So you can see I'm just going to pour that in here. And then, like I said, I just cut it into about 4s each mini loaf. then when I'm putting it back in the Thermomix. All right. So let me get that. One more plane. Glad when I have an extra bowl or two for these virtuals. That will help me save a little bit of time, but probably not get as excited as the menu. I can never decide what to show you guys. And how I get excited with all the things I can share and teach you. All right. Like I said, well, everything is going to go off at once here. Once this roll is ready, all right, I'm just going to move that aside. So then we're going to allow that to cool and then place it in the oven for, definitely not the oven. Freezer for 24 hours. A minimum of 10 hours is what you want. All right, I'm going to come over here because I'm going to grab that Swiss roll out. Mess them up in here. All right, so that is the Swiss roll. The Swiss, yeah, not really a roll at the moment, is it? And then I'll do this over the camera. Upside down. So tipping it straight onto that sugared baking paper. Just going to peel back this sheet of baking paper. Like I said, this is what I would deem the harder part of making the Swiss roll, but that's honestly not. I'm just going to this is the inside, so don't stress too much if it doesn't come off perfect. You're not going to see it. Now what you want to do is grab a sharp knife and just make a cut that does not go the whole way through. So you don't want to cut it through, but a cut kind of 3/4 of the way through the cake on one end. And then we're just going to roll it up. So we're going to tuck the paper in with it, that's fine. But we're going to roll it while it's warm so that it rolls. So just going to roll it up like that. Easy. And then you're going to place that aside to cool down. So the recipe says to cover it with a damp tea towel. I don't even bother. Just pop it aside. And then you'll have a cool one to work with afterwards. All right, what I'm going to do is I've got maybe a couple of minutes left. I'm going to stop this one there. I'm going to pop that aside for a minute so I can show you. Just going to give that bowl a quick wash too because I'm going to make ice cream. I'm going to make a filling. These are only really quick steps. I just want this bowl to cool down a little bit. It's going to get clean. Don't want to be making our ice cream and whipped cream mixture with a hot bowl. That wouldn't work very well, obviously. All right, so I'm just going to leave that one there for a minute to cool down because it's very hot after steaming. We're going to come over here. I'm actually going to do the whipped cream on this one so we can finish our Swiss roll first. So the other really cool thing that you can do, which was similar to the 10-6 as well, is when you want to just do half a recipe or start a different step, we can just find it on the preparation steps. And we're just going to scroll down to filling. If I tap that, and it asks us if we want to start from there. So that is what I'm doing there. So it says once sponge is cool, prepare filling. I'm just going to put the butterfly whisk in. Next, I need to grab some more cream nut. So 200 grams of cream. Next, golly gosh. $80 grams of Greek yogurt. And then 50 grams of icing sugar. Now we've just got 40 seconds on speed 3. What I might quickly do is the matcha tea on this one so that will cool the bowl down and then I can make our ice cream and then we're all finished. So the same thing goes with this one. I'm just going to go to preparation steps and then I'm going to go down to the matcha milk part. So this recipe or this part of the recipe makes 4 of these drinks. So obviously I do not need 4 matcha drinks tonight. So I'm just going to quarter it and make 1. Just going to check the consistency of that cream. And I'm just going to add a little bit more time. So when it says that 40 seconds on speed 3, obviously we don't want to over whip our cream. And it's very easy to do. So it sets to 40 seconds and then asks you if you want to add any extra. So 1 teaspoon of matcha powder instead of the 4. And then 125 grams of milk. And then we're going to pop some ice in as well, 50 grams of ice. Throwing some on the ground. This is what happens when I'm trying to hurry for you guys. Make an even bigger mess than what was going to. Next, and then 10 seconds on spores on speed 8. And that's it for that part of it. So now it's just telling us to place 2 tablespoons of that coconut caramel sauce in each glass. Just going to grate my spoon there. So beautiful coconut caramel sauce that we made. This is 2 tablespoons. This is a teaspoon that I've got here. So I'm just going to put a few in. And then top that with that matcha milk. There you go. How much do you reckon that will cost you in the cafe? Right. I'm way over time. Thank you for bearing with me tonight. I appreciate that. All right, let's finish this ice cream and then we are all done. My picture looks like this one, that's it. Yeah, let's move that to the side. Next and finish. All right, so let's go back to that chocolate ice cream and the same again. We're going to go down to the, oops, I went to tips. Preparation. Oh, goodness. And then that last step. So now, you know, we've had that mixture in the fridge for a minimum of 10 hours. You place it in the, had it in the freezer for a minimum of 10 hours. Then we're going to put it in the fridge for 15 minutes just to start to kind of warm up a little bit. Cut it into pieces, which I don't need to worry about because, like we said before, we've put it in that mini muffin tin. It did start to melt a little bit too much in that time, but that's okay. Then we're adding it all into the bowl, and now we're crushing it or creaming it further. Really want matcha in my beautiful chocolate ice cream. And we're going to scrape down the sides, and then we're going to give it one last definitely. I definitely let it melt too much then. Actually, I'm not going to blend it again, otherwise we're going to end up with soup. But I will show you our creamy chocolate ice cream. So obviously, with all that flapping around, I did let it melt a little bit too much. I should have left it I put it in the fridge when we were talking. And then it would be like, it should be edible consistency now. Like that will go back in the freezer and it will still be a beautiful creamy consistency, you know, just like ice cream out of the tub tomorrow. But if you don't let it defrost to the point that I just did, you'll be able to eat it like ice cream now as well. Okay, so that cream is done. Now I'm going to finish rolling up that and then we're all done. So now it just tells us to fold in our mango, or we are using strawberries, into that cream mixture. So that's the mixture. We're just going to pop our strawberries in there and give it a quick mix. So just folding it in just with this spatula. You don't need to put it back on again. Now, this is the important part where your Swiss roll has now cooled down. So now it's cooled down, you can unroll it. But it will still kind of sit like it's been rolled, if that makes sense, which is what we want. So then we're going to pop our filling on there. And you just don't want to pop it too close to the sides, obviously, because as you roll it again, it's going to spread out. So because this is, remember, this is cream and yogurt and ice and sugar. So it's not just a kind of a whipped cream consistency. All right, spreading that out. And then we're going to roll it up again, but obviously not including the baking paper this time. So I'm just going to roll it, but it will roll easily because you can use the paper to guide you if you want to. Roll easily because it kind of pulled into that shape. Don't worry if a little bit of the cake outside comes off because you can dust it with some ice and sugar and it will be beautiful. So I'm just getting a base for that. Okay, let's just cream come out the other side. That is our strawberry Swiss roll. And that one, I'll just cut it and show you. How good does that look? So, gosh, we've made a mess, but we've had a bit happening. So for our beautiful summer treats, we have got our matcha caramel coconut drink. We've got our strawberry Swiss roll. We have our mango cheesecake, which is now going to go in the oven. Oh my goodness, I can't get my words right today. Not in the oven, in the fridge overnight to finish setting, and then it will be ready. And then I'm just going to pop a little bit on now just because we can. We're going to top it with some mango coulis. And tomorrow I'll top it with some fresh mango as well. And our chocolate ice cream, which is now melted. So I can't really pull that out to show you. But yes, Swiss roll, our matcha coconut caramel drink, our white chocolate and mango cheesecake, and our chocolate ice cream. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm so sorry I've gone so over time, but I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learnt something new. If you're not already, please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Thermo Loving Mum, and I will share all the finished products tomorrow. I'll show you how the ice cream comes out of the freezer. I'll pop that on my Instagram, and I'll show you the cheesecake once it's all finished too. So please come and check that out tomorrow. But thank you again so much for watching me. I hope that you've enjoyed the series, and I hope that you've learned something new, found some new inspiration. And I hope to see you at another virtual again soon. I am deciding what to do in December. I might cut back a little bit because I know everyone is so busy, and share a bit more through my social media instead. But if there's anything you want to see, you want to learn more about, whether it be in December or the new year, please shoot me a message and let me know. I'm very open to new ideas and to knowing what would help you the most. But thank you again. Thanks for sticking with me way past bedtime. But I hope you've enjoyed tonight's virtual. See you next time.